don't get into fights with people who like to fight.
That's good advice. Did you have any favorite acting roles or any moments where you were on set and you were like, I can't believe I'm here right now. This is crazy.
We were doing Derailed in London. It was with Jennifer Aniston. My first day working was where I had to beat up Jennifer and America's Sweetheart.
Yeah. How do you feel Pimp My Ride influenced your career trajectory?
This is the first album where everything is exactly the way I want it from top to bottom.
What was that like being on tour with Eminem, especially back then?
Man, I'm glad there wasn't no Instagram back then. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
I put together my suit of armor like Tony Stark's. I seen dynasties come together but never start. Niggas ain't with me right now cause they ain't had a heart. They get emotional, hold grudges and fall apart.
Welcome to the Spout Podcast. We have Xzibit in the house today. How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited actually for this interview.
Good.
I'm sure, this is an exciting time for you. Your upcoming album, Kingmaker. This is your first studio album in over 12 years.
Yes, it is. The last one was 2012. The Napalm album. So Kingmaker, in 2025, I'm really excited about this release. Worked really hard on it.
What prompted the return back to music after all this time?
It is everything I do. It is like the most easiest way for me to communicate with my audience. Mm-hmm. It is the most natural way. So the catalyst of everything that started came from music. So it was time. And plus, I think the energy was right. The music was right.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it.
Was there any moment where you were like, this is time? Or was it just kind of a gradual thing?
No, I was working on it the whole time. I was working on it. I didn't know it was called Kingmaker until we got to what it was. But I've been working on music. I've been doing stuff with, Be Real and Dimrick as the serial killers. But I was always working on solo records. And then, within the last 8-9 months, it really came together, so we put it together and now we're ready.
What makes this album different from all of your others?
Oh, man. This album is different than the others because I think after all the time that I spent in the industry and putting out, records, like I found my voice. I found out, what I'm supposed to be saying, how I'm supposed to be saying it, speaking from a place of maturity, authority, experience, and I think now is the time for that type of music to come from me.
Nice. Yeah. And you've got Ice Cube featured on your latest single, For the Love.
Yes.
Live hard, die harder. Sometimes blood ain't thicker than water. Sometimes the shit starter is just a martyr. Sometimes it ain't your son, boy, it's your daughter.
I love that you used a Mobb Deep beat. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me about using that beat, but also how the collaboration between you and Cube came about.
Well, this is a bucket list moment for me because Cube, as long as we've known each other, this is our first time working on my project together. Mm-hmm. So to have Ice Cube featured on this record is a big deal for me. Mm-hmm. Big Duke actually produced the record, and I sent it to Havoc first to get the thumbs up and see like, yo, are you good with this? So he was like, yeah, man, you guys did that.
Nice.
And it just feels good. I'm on his record as well, Ice Cube's record with the Man Down, Break the Mirror single.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, I just want it all. I want it now without working, I swear I work it off. Watch me paint a perfect picture, my presence Picasso. I'm an IG model, click the link in my bio.
Man, it's just great timing, divine timing. Planets are aligning.
I love that. When things are meant to be, it's real nice.
Yeah.
You also have Dr. Dre on this album.
Yes.
And was it Snoop Dogg that introduced you in the first place?
Yeah, we were working on Snoop's No Limit Top Dog record, and he gave me a call and said that Dre was in the studio. He wanted to do a song for his new record, so Dre was in the studio. Go over there. We ended up doing "Bitch Please," and that we used as a single and catapulted everything and to fast forward and. Now here we are. All these years later, still rocking.
Bitch, please. Down on your goddamn knees for this money, chronic clothes and weed. Look, you fucking with some real OGs. Bitch, please.
It must feel good to just be like, yo, Dre, come hop on my album. And he's like, hell
it's
yeah.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't imagine
it doesn't happen like that.
happened?
I'm not saying.
So you got to earn that information.
Yeah, I'm not saying. We have all his people mad at me.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are all these people calling me, Xzibit? No, I'm good. No,
Well, we're excited to see him.
Yeah,
on
I
the
am
album.
too, man. Yo, that's my brother, man. Like, not only is he a mentor, but I really respect his opinion and his journey and the relationship we have. So, brotherhood is not a strong enough word. So, to have him featured on this record as well means a lot. Yeah.
And you just signed with Conor McGregor's new label, which sounds like a weird sentence coming out of my mouth. Can you talk about what it's like with working with Conor McGregor, especially from a musical standpoint, and why you chose to sign with this label?
Yeah, well, Conor McGregor, I mean, love him or hate him, he's a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. And then when we are finished with the record, it was like, how are we going to put it out? And we looked at all the other options, major, independent, direct to consumer, all these other options that are out there now. And, this came across the table, and I was like, let me go sit down with him and see what it is. And the people that he's building his businesses around are involved in the music side as well. So they coming at it in a very intelligent way. The partnership that we have is really significant because it's nothing like I've ever experienced in music before. So I was like, yeah, this is a way to do it, a way to shoot over people's heads. I view it like this, I have something to prove. They got something to prove, both of those audiences put together and that energy put together. I think it's going to do something special.
Okay, so are you sending Conor your music? How involved is he?
No, he isn't. He is not a music executive. All right, but he brought a bunch of music executives around to run the shit. So
okay, I can only imagine that accent being like, oh this is,
no.
I love this song. You talked about you having something to prove. What does that mean?
Man, I think that's the competitive spirit in me. I love hip hop. I love it. I love what it's done for my life. I love the culture. I love, performing. So it's not necessarily something to prove to the public. It's just something I got to prove to myself. Pushing harder. Go. How can I do something better than I did it last time? How can I set a standard or set a bar, or raise the bar from what I did last time? I think that's what more or less what I'm talking about.
I feel like I know there's been so many waves of hip hop, especially you've been in this for decades now. How have you seen the hip hop game change over the last 30 years?
30 years? Jesus.
From when you first kind of jumped onto the scene and then now.
No. Well, I think the obvious one is physical copies don't exist anymore. They do. People are into vinyl now. For Kingmaker, I made vinyl, CD, and cassette.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You can get that. Just go to my socials, you'll find it. I think really the biggest difference outside of that is the struggle for power. People, the people are still trying to figure out how to control the business through the financial side. And the audience hasn't changed. That's always going to cycle, and people will love music. It's part of humanity. And the artists, the way they create music is the technology's helped a lot, but pretty much that's the same as people making music and people enjoying music. The power struggle is in between, like who wants to control? Because, once, the guys try to warn the labels about, downloads, and they laughed about it. They're like, what? No, motherfucker, we selling CDs for $16 a piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That power was taken away from them, and now they're scrambling for that. So, they're still trying to figure that out. I think the power is now in the hands of the artist because now you can go directly to the consumer without a middleman, but they make it difficult. So now instead of payola and radio, we're dealing with algorithms and playlists.
Right.
Big difference.
Yeah. So
same shit.
I would be remiss not to point out that Jay-Z dropped 444 when he was 47. Eminem just dropped an album last year. You're dropping your album very, very soon.
Yeah, 7 days, 6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I have to ask, do you think there's an element of ageism in hip hop?
Do I think there is?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there is. I was telling somebody the other day, it reminds me of, I don't know if you ever saw this movie called Logan's Run, right?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Logan's Run, the premise of the movie is that at a certain age, everyone on the planet has to die, right? Whether you're sick or not. So, I think it was like 25 or 35 or something like that. So I think it was 25. So, it's weird because, further on in the movie, I mean, the guy figures out that you don't die or explode at 25. You actually can live a great life. And it's like this big deal. And he's going back to tell everybody, like, you don't have to die. But that was a long-winded way to get around to this. It doesn't exist in any other genre of music. I think hip-hop is experiencing like growing pains. It's, a 50-year-old genre, but it's widely popular. It took over pop culture, pop music, everything. And it's only had this one banner for forever. And now there's so much, growth in hip-hop. It's time for subdivisions of hip-hop to happen. Like adult contemporary, alternative hip-hop. I guess it's like hipster hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, it needs subdivisions, just like any other genre, because you're trying to put Sexy Red next to Nas, next to,
right.
Lil Nas X, next to the Locks, next to, you know what I'm saying? Like it's too, like next to Travis Scott, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Playboy Cardi, Kanye West, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
all these different ways that hip hop has grown. It needs to be identified. I think that'll kind of organize things and get the ageism out of it, because nobody tells the Rolling Stones when to stop touring. Nobody tells those guys when they've had their run.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there is some kind of ageism in hip hop, but I think there's also a misconception that there's only like 6 seats.
Yeah.
Nobody wins the game the same way. Nobody, run your race. Don't look in the next man's grass to tell how green yours should be.
Bars.
So I think it should be, organized. I think somebody has to take the initiative to kind of designate and acknowledge the growth that's happening, and then we can move accordingly.
I think everyone's trying to be on that Mount Rushmore of hip hop.
Yeah, why? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Why?
What's that Jay-Z quote when he's like, "What? I'm supposed to be here to be second best."
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. But it doesn't suck being number 2 either.
Yeah, no. That's the truth. This episode of the Spout Podcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com is one of the most downloaded travel apps in the world. That makes it the place to list your vacation rentals if you want to earn more with consistent bookings, reach new markets, and turn hosting into a steady income. The best part? Getting started is super easy. In less than 15 minutes, you can register your property, and nearly half of partners get their first booking within a week. Plus, if you're already listed on another site, Booking.com makes it super easy to import your property info, and you can get going right away. So, whether you're looking to earn extra income, maybe fill those vacant weekends, or you're just looking to grow your business, go ahead and head over to Booking.com to see how you can get started today. For the bookings you've dreamed of, list your property on Booking.com. You mentioned a lot of names in the rap space today. Are there any artists that you are like really checking for? You're like, wow, this person's mad talented.
Yeah, on Kingmaker, I had a balance of legacy artists, people that you used to see me with, and then people that I do believe are carrying the torch in a way that is going to be beneficial to the culture in the future. You got like Guapdad 4000. You got Compton AV, Trey Capital. Domo Genesis. I like Chef Boy. I like Corday.
Corday's great.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of people that are moving forward. I like Coyote, you know what I'm saying? And they're featured on the record. Not Corday, but a lot of those names I just said are featured on the record. So there's a balance there. I mean, I got my ear to the street. I know what's happening. You know, out of this fire hose of music that we all listen to now, you know, it's kind of, after doing that for so long, you kind of get to discern, you know, what you're about to hear, and the attention spans of people are really short. So you got a small window of time. So I think now people are starting to drift towards authenticity and drift towards something that has some kind of substance to it. And that's why I think it's a good time to put out Kingmaker, because that's where I am. There's plenty of music out there, the mindless music, you know, but it's a necessity.
Right.
We had it when we were there, when we were young too. You know what I'm saying? The 2 Live Crew, you know, Luke. I mean, come on now, who did what? It was there, but it wasn't the sound. That wasn't the norm. It was like part of the sound. You know, and that's where we're at, man. I think that's a good way to set it.
Do you have a favorite track off of Kingmaker? I
do. I you know, it fluctuates. Sometimes I listen to the top of the record, and you know, I'll be looking forward to, you know, the Leave Me Alone record with Dr. Dre. Yeah. And then I'll start from the middle of the record, and then I'll get to, you know, the Simba record, American Idol. Or the title track at the end is always it just buttons it up so dope. The Kingmaker title track. It fluctuates, but this is the first album where everything is exactly the way I want it from top to bottom.
Nice.
Like,
you wouldn't say that about your other albums?
No. There's always something you can critique.
Right.
You know, like, oh, I should have said it like this, or that mix was like not as good as the other ones, or, you know, there's always something you can pick apart. But this one, I sat with it exactly and wouldn't have it any other way. Like, this is going to be the one.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about some of the rappers that you're looking at, but I have to ask you about your thoughts about women in the rap game currently, like the Doechis, the Cardi B's, Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla. So who are you checking for out of the women in rap?
I'm checking for all the women in rap. You know what I'm saying? I think it's interesting to see the growth and the transfer of dominance in hip hop and how it moves around. In the region to region, you know, gender to gender, you know, it moves around. And so to see the women take power and go forward with that sound is dope. I like what Dolce's doing. You know, a lot of people are talking about the sexuality of what they're talking about and how they, I mean, but look what, we got 30 years of talking about our dicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like what do you see what we've been saying on these records? So it's not a surprise. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, there's always room for growth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. I would like to see some Lauryn Hill representation. I would like to see some Rhapsody representation. I would like to see some Rod Digger representation. I don't want to hear about your booty hole. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, great. We got a couple songs like that, but you know, what else you got? Yeah.
I mean, like you were saying, even back in the day, we had, you know, Foxy or like Lil Kim. So like that. Yeah. So like that's not anything shocking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you're right. Like we like lyricism.
Yeah, but what else we got? Yeah. You know?
I feel you.
Throw the shit out there.
So as a veteran in the rap game, you've seen your share of rap beef. So I'm curious about your perspective as an artist on how the Kendrick and Drake beef played out.
Is that still happening?
I mean, Kendrick is on tour right now, still performing that song. So
I guess. Well, the spirit of competition has always been, you know, alive and well in hip hop. It's part of what drives the next steps and the energy. So that's always going to happen. I think the David and Goliath esque feeling that we got from that was simply because it was like the culture or the skill versus the pop appeal, the popular opinion, mainstream versus underground, age old, right? Drake is a phenomenal artist. Kendrick is a phenomenal artist, but they're different. And so now we got to see that play out. And I always tell people, you know, don't get into fights with people who like to fight.
That's good advice. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I never see that work out really well. But I mean, like, listen, by no means do I condone any kind of violence with anyone. I do not like what happened at his house and all of the, the dude's house, and like, listen, man, as long as it stays, is music. That's part of it, right? You win some, you lose some. We continue on. But when it gets, transferred into where people are getting hurt or people are dying, we've already been through that. And I'm hoping, it stays where it is.
Yeah. Same. You recently called Eminem a legend, rightfully so. Why would you say that?
I mean, have you not seen what Eminem has done? Like, why are you asking me? Like, I'm just here like everybody else. Like,
You're just along for the
about
ride.
to say Eminem, right?
Yes, the one and only. Yes.
Yeah. Mic drop. I don't want to just say shit.
I mean, you guys have collaborated on music before. You were part of the Anger Management Tour in 2003. What was that like being on tour with Eminem, especially back then?
Man, you don't know what it is that you're doing until it's done, right? So we were just doing shows. Like we know we had made it to the same team and had the same jersey on. We were flying under the same banner, but it was just about like, wow, we're doing these songs and now we get to do them in front of people. Simple as that. We didn't was like, oh, this is gonna be legendary. Like, we didn't know that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we were just trying to get our music and our art out, like everybody else. And that's where it landed. Like we were just doing shows. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of us together, doing, European runs, US runs, along with Papa Roach, Limp Bizkit, Man, I'm glad there wasn't no Instagram back then. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
You guys were safe from the social media.
Safe.
Yeah.
The closest thing that you had was like a wind-up disposable camera. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had to get those developed.
Yeah, true.
So you couldn't get too wild.
Yeah. I can only imagine. Yeah. Is there anything about Eminem's personality that you think fans would be surprised about?
I don't know. I think there's so many sides to what, Marshall does. He could be serious. He could be extremely funny. I mean, he can, I don't know. I think he's really did a good job of being able to separate life from work and, give what he's supposed to give to his audience and be there and present for his family. And he's done a great job with that. I don't think they're going to be surprised. And I think that's another reason why his fans love him so much, because he is authentic. He's never tried to claim to be anything other than what he is, and he's really good at it. So, yeah, I don't think they'd be surprised. Yeah. Okay, so I have to talk about Pimp My Ride. Okay. Because, a lot of us grew up on that show. Good.
Y'all ready for this? Let's go.
You've got to pimp my ride.
So, looking back, how do you feel Pimp My Ride influenced your career trajectory?
Pimp My Ride did two things as far as my career trajectory. It was hands down responsible for putting me in global households that had nothing to do with recognizing my music, number one. Number two, it also opened doors that led to me being in the film and the film business, right? Going and doing major motion pictures. Absolutely, hands down, introduced people to my character into something different than what I was saying and doing in my musical career. So I would say those are the biggest things that it did.
Is there ever any talks about maybe bringing that show back?
Not for me.
No?
I don't know.
Is that something you'd be interested in?
they're not going to do the right thing. Yeah. So I'm not, whatever. Yeah.
You're like, it was good the first time.
Yeah, it was good the first time.
Do you have any favorite moments from that show?
No.
You don't have any favorite moments from that show?
The ending.
Fair. A lot of people are looking up to you now as a legend in the game. Is there anyone that you look up to and that maybe you get advice from?
Oh, I mean, I used to talk to my father a lot, my father was the only one, I'm pretty sure this is true for most people, your parents are the only people on earth that don't want nothing from you but your success. So, being able to talk to my father and, kind of bounce things off of him was like the last person that I was like going to, like that. I speak to Dre, I speak to other people about personal things, but they go through their own stuff. I don't bombard them like I could bombard my dad. You know what I'm saying? He wants to know about everything.
Yeah.
But he passed, and I realized that the conversations that we've had, which is always kind of weird because my dad would never give me advice. I would spill all this stuff to him, and then he'd be like, well, what are you going to do about it? I was like, oh, fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking you, you know what I'm saying, to get your opinion. He says, you already know what to do. I've already taught you. I was like, yeah. Yeah, it just feels good saying it out loud sometimes. He's like, see, I know. See, there you go. I'm like, oh, man, you didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing. Yeah. But he's correct. And so I think he was preparing me for when he was not here to be able to go to that. And that's not self-soothe, but to be able to kind of, answer my own questions because he did his job correctly. Yeah.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah, thanks.
You mentioned being an actor because you've had a pretty prolific acting career too.
That's crazy, right?
I mean, it's not that crazy. Like
it is for me.
We've seen you perform, so for us, we're like, oh yeah, it makes sense because he's good. But like, it's pretty incredible that you've had a prolific rap career, prolific acting career. You're a businessman. In terms of acting, is there anything coming up that you're going to be in that we should be looking out for?
No, actually, what I've been doing is really focusing on the Kingmaker release. I'm not really focused on film or television right now, although that is the focus down the line. Right now, I have to give everything that I have to this record. It's that important, and it's that good. I'm like, I need to clear the calendar. I called everybody. It's like, push that shit back. Let's get the tour bus ready. You know what I'm saying? Change the writer.
You gotta upgrade it now.
Whoa! I was like, what the fuck? What were we doing? Like, how are we alive? We got to change all of this. It's crazy.
Now it's like sparkling water.
Yeah, coffee. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, celery.
Juice.
Yeah. You know
Air One smoothies.
Yeah, honey. Shit, hell, we're not doing that. We was banging ourselves against the wall at 1,000 miles an hour for years at a time.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. You're grown now.
Well, kinda. Yeah.
Did you have any favorite acting roles or any moments where you were on set and you were like, I can't believe I'm here right now. This is crazy.
Yeah. Really funny story, man. We were doing Derailed in London. And that was the first time my dad actually went with me to a movie shoot. And the first day of filming, it was with Jennifer Aniston. And it's the scene where I got to beat her up.
Oh.
At the time, Brad Pitt was still with her. So he was on set.
Oh.
And that's the first time. Like, Clive Owen, Jennifer Aniston, the RZA's in that film. It's like, but in the script, they shoot it out of order all the time. So that was my first day working was where I had to beat up Jennifer and America's Sweetheart. Let's put hands on her. You know what I'm saying? First day. So I've never put my hands on a woman. I can't pull from experience. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't fucking, and action. I'm like, is it like that? Like that? They're like, his hand cut. Xzibit. Mikhail Hofstrom was the director. Xzibit. You must really fuck her up. You must. And then, okay, and she's full on. She's already in it. She's crying. And I'm like, she's crying. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable. You know, that's Jennifer Aniston. She's like, no. And she hears me like having this kind of issue. She's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Like, bitch, I don't need you helping me go through this. Like, you good. And Brad's like this.
Oh.
So this is what I'm dealing first day of working on this film. And action. I get the gun, I'm like, pistol whipping, you know what I'm saying? I was like, and cut. Yes! Oh, that was really good. I was like, this is fucking fucked. This is fun. I'm not, like, this is, now I know why you got to go to school for this. You know what I'm saying?
He was terrified after every take that he was somehow hurting me, and he's just the sweetest guy on the planet, as mean as he looks in this movie.
I didn't do it. Like, if I got to pull from method acting to do this, I was like, yo, this is wild. So I took it serious, and you know what I'm saying? That was, I think just so many experiences and different things, working with The Rock, working with, you know, Werner Herzog, you know, Nicolas Cage. These are all things that in a million years I would have never have imagined that I would be involved with. But it also reinforces the fact that taking risk is something that, you know, you may fail. But when you win and you challenge yourself, it becomes a whole different world every time. You know what I'm saying? So I've kicked open doors that I didn't even know I was supposed to be standing in front of, you know? But it just builds the confidence, and it gives you options in order to brighten your horizons, your thoughts, your perspectives on people, things, life. I've been blessed with that, man. Never been afraid to step outside, you know?
Nice. And you were rewarded.
Absolutely.
Did Brad Pitt ever say anything to you after that scene?
Great job. Yeah, Vincent Cassell. I became really good friends with Vincent Cassell.
I love that.
Yeah, we started like going around. I went to his crib, chilling with his family. Don Cheadle walking around like, what the fuck? Yeah.
That's amazing. So, you know, obviously there's been a lot of people that have gone from rapper to actor. We spoke about Eminem, Ludacris, Ice Cube, Queen Latifah, Tupac, yourself. Aside from yourself, who is your favorite rapper turned actor?
Oh, Ice Cube.
Nice.
Yeah, come on now. Like he's literally started so many movements on the West Coast. Like, to see his transition and see how he, you know, goes from in front of the camera to behind the camera to building other people and launching careers. I think that's the testament of really what it is. I think we do things for ourselves so much. When you're able to do for yourself and others, that's when it becomes something bigger, right? And he's been able to do that not only through music, but in film. He's given us stars, you know, Mike Epps to the Friday movies to, you know, you name it. You know what I'm saying? There's, you know, there's so much to be said about what he's done. Cat Williams, we got him. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ice Cube, man, hands down.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of athletes who've dropped rap albums, like Shaquille O'Neal, Damian Lillard. I feel like LeBron would drop a rap album if he really wanted to, because he loves rap. What is your take on their music, and would you ever collaborate with one of them?
Oh yeah, Shaquille O'Neal is the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the quintessential athlete, rapper, success story. He's got platinum records. I was in the video. Yeah. I've already collabed with him. And now you see him doing, you know, EDC, DJing. Yeah. Come on, man. That's what it is, though. I think Shaq has not tried to do music. He actually has been part of the culture. And that's where people get it mistaken, right? Everybody thinks they can rap until it's time to rap, you know? But it only exists in rap. It sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a middle-aged man with a dad bod, you're not gonna jump up and with a helmet and go down on a field and try to play with the fucking Rams. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get killed.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But everybody thinks they could just get some Wi-Fi, get a microphone, a garage band, and now they're a rapper. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. But I think that, with people that really invest time, energy, and love into music, then it shows, right? When you're just trying some shit just to try some shit, it's a Saturday Night Live skit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, oh, God.
We're about to be on the release of your new album, Kingmaker.
Yes.
We're really excited about that. Because it has been over 12 years since your last album, you're going to have a whole new audience that's going to be introduced to you by way of your music.
Yes.
What do you want your new audience to take away from this album?
The same thing that the, legacy audience takes away from it. There's so much music that comes out, and there, and the frequency of it makes it hard to kind of digest things, right? All I would ask is, if this is your first time listening to my music, and you do get a hand on this album, do yourself a favor, listen from top to bottom, the way it was designed to be listened to. I know it's easy to pick around and go look for the 3 dots or 4 dots that's on the playlist and pick those songs because everybody else listening to them. But group thinking isn't always the best thing, guys. Let me start there. I'm asking, if you want to have this experience the way it was designed and intended to be experienced, listen from top to bottom at least one time. Do yourself a favor.
Nice. Kingmaker drops May 16th. A big thank you to Xzibit.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Out here on Spout.
Let's go.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Oh, that's a little rhyme. Let's go.
Oh, shit, publishing.
Let's go. Xzibit with the flow. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. That's all I got. 2 bars.